Alright, today we're going to be installing the auto dimming mirror with approach lighting from Subaru. The kit will come with two mirrors, driver and passenger side, as well as the friction damper springs, one for each side. The tools you'll need is going to be a trim removal tool, a screwdriver, preferably flathead, and you can see I've just wrapped some tape on there and you'll see why, and also a 10mm ratcheting wrench. Let's go right into it. We are filming indoors today. As you can see, it did rain a bit, but we're going to proceed with the installation here. We're going to be first disconnecting the battery terminal. I'll put a link in the description with another video where I did go through how to properly open up the latch. Alright, now we have the hood open. It's time to disconnect the battery terminal with a 10mm ratcheting wrench. Alright, so we've disconnected the battery terminal, so we're ready to pry open the mirror here. So we're going to grab our flathead screwdriver, which I've wrapped with tape just to protect the trim or the mirror from any gouging. We're going to be inserting this around the bottom, just like so. Pry up the mirror nice and gently. Once you have enough space under the lip of the mirror, we can bring our fingers around it and pry it open. We're just going to take our time and work around the perimeter. There are 4 clips centered on the mirror that we need to open up. Just be careful around the mirror. We don't want to damage any of the wiring or the mirror itself. Alright, now that we've pulled off the mirror, if your car comes equipped with a heater connector for the mirror, you'll need to remove that. I found that using a thin flathead screwdriver and placing it, let's get this guy in focus, placing it in the prongs here, let's see if we can get an angle right there, you can actually pry the connector out. Alright. I just want to be very transparent on these videos, but I don't know what Subaru was doing when they designed these connectors. It is not even straight, so it took me quite a while just to remove the heater connector. So just be aware that if you are doing this modification, there is a risk that you might damage this, and in this case I did kind of peel off this glue here. I'm just going to leave it there for now, but you can see how these connectors aren't even straight. So again, just take your time, just do as much as you can, and just note the risks of doing this install. So now that we've removed the mirror, we can now take out the pre-arranged connector for the approach light. To do this, do not pull on the harness itself. Instead, using the trim removal piece, just take your time, pushing up against the foam, and pulling out the connector. And hopefully you can see that. That's the connector right there. We're going to be removing this foam now. Alright, now that we have the connector out, we're going to be removing this protective piece here. So just using a flathead screwdriver, press the tab here and pull out the connector. Alright, before we actually install the mirror, we're going to be installing this damper friction spring. All you need to do is to insert it into this tab here, just like so, and this should clip right into place. Final steps, we're going to be plugging in all the connectors back to their relative positions, and then we're just going to install the mirror back and we'll be done the driver's side. Make sure everything's nice and secured. You can see how easily the heater connector actually inserts on this new one, so I'm not sure what they did with the original one, but should clip in very nice and smoothly. And the last part is to insert the mirror back into its original spot. Just make sure all the clips here on the mirror attach into the actual housing itself. Just to make sure you know it's fully seated, you can just give a little push on each corner. There should be a little bit of give, but not too much, and that means that the mirror is seated properly into the connectors. Alright, and since the passenger side is a direct mirror, no pun intended, of the driver's side, I'm just going to go ahead and just do everything just like how we did on the driver's side, and we'll just do a quick time lapse, and then we'll call it a day. Alright, something I forgot to mention is that when reconnecting the heater connector, make sure the grooves, those need to face downwards on the car. So making sure that the orientation is correct. This way you don't mix up your positive and negative terminals, so make sure those grooves are facing down on the car. Alright, and that's the mirror fully installed. You can see that there's not any budge here, which means all the clips are in place. Now we're going to reconnect the battery terminal and it should be ready to go. Alright, and here's the moment of truth. We've got our key. We're just going to unlock the car and we're going to see if the approach light will turn on or not. So here we go. And there you go. It is on. So that means that's working. Let's check the other side. And coming to the passenger side, we see that it lights up, so that means we've got everything plugged in correctly. The only thing we can also check for is the heated mirrors, but right now it's not quite foggy, so I'm going to test that on some other time when I'm driving. But otherwise, that's all for the installation. Thank you again, and we'll see you in the next video.